Hey everybody, and welcome back to the board meeting. Today we're going to be doing another reviews and ratings episode where I review and rate all the different games I've been playing the past 2 weeks with friends, family, and even solo. I've got 6 games that I'm going to be talking about today, and so we're going to jump into it really fast. I'm just going to give a quick overview of the game, give my personal thoughts, and then give it a final rating. And I apologize if you can hear the wind blowing outside. We have our first blizzard of the season, so it's pretty nasty outside. So I'm not sure how much of that you guys are going to be able to hear. Hopefully not too much. So let's start with our first games, and we're going to go from my least favorite games of the week up to my favorite game. And let's start with the first game, Monkey the Card Game. Monkey the Card Game is this game where you are trying to be the first player to climb this tree that is made out of cards. And on your turn, you're going to try and flip over one of these tree cards and beat that card. The card is just numbers. You're trying to play a higher number of that color, basically, in order to climb the tree. Before you do that, you're going to have to draw a card and draw a certain effect, and the effects can be like losing a turn or dropping you down or hurting other players. But that's basically the thing of the game. You're just playing out cards, trying to beat the card that's the tree card, and trying to be the first one to do that. This is the only game on this list that I do not like. I don't like it at all. This gets a 3 rating from me. This has got the feel of like an Uno-esque style game, or a game from like the 70s or 80s where there's not really much strategy. You're just flipping over cards and seeing what the effects do and trying to play cards from your hand that hopefully beat whatever card that you flip over. So it's pretty much almost 100% luck what happens in this game. And it's not a game that I would suggest to any of my friends. But if you like those Uno-style games, maybe you'll like it. This game is definitely not for me. So a 3 rating for Monkey the Card Game. Let's go on to the next game. And that was the only game on this list that I don't like, that I wouldn't suggest to anyone. So going to the next game is a very beautiful card game. This is Canopy. Now this is sort of like this push your luck style set collection game, where there is 3 little locations that you can pull cards from. And you're going to start at the first location, and you're going to look at the cards that are in that location and see them and either take them or put them back. If you put them back, that location gets another card. Then you're going to go on to the next one, look at those, either take them or put them back. And if you put them back, you put another card on that, and so on until you get to the final location. And if you do not take those cards, you just get a random card off the top of the deck. And the different cards in the game are like animals or plants, they're trees, things like that, and it's pretty much all like this big sort of set collection game, but you're pushing your luck throughout the game, and there are bad cards, so you might pick a pile and you're like, this is a really good pile, except for this one bad card in there that's going to get me negative points. So it's got that interesting mechanism of that, and it's got beautiful Vincent Dutrait artwork in it. So for my rating for this, it's going to get a 6.5, which you might think is a little bit low, but I enjoyed the game. But after I played this game, I think 3 times, I was like, okay, yeah, you've seen everything you see in the game, so nothing new is happening. So to me, there's not just like a ton of replayability of it. As beautiful as the game is, I don't think I'm going to play it that much more. But I mean, it was interesting for the few plays that I did get of it. So 6.5 for Canopy. Going to our third game of the week. This is Don't Mess with Cthulhu, and I played the deluxe edition, which has some extra sort of small little mini expansions added into it. This is a social deduction game where you're going to either play as a cultist, the bad guys, or an investigator, the good guys. And this is a very, very simple social deduction game where everybody has a bunch of cards in front of them, and each of those cards is either just going to be this plain rock card, or it's going to have an elder sign on it, or there is one Cthulhu in the whole deck. So you're going to shuffle up these cards, and everybody's going to get an even amount of cards, and the players get a look at their cards, and then they shuffle those cards and put those cards in front of them. And on a turn, whoever's got the flashlight is going to pick a certain player, and then pick that player's certain card, and that card is going to get revealed. If you are the investigators, you want to reveal all of the elder signs before the end of the game, which is so many different rounds. If you are the cultists, you want to not reveal like basically any of these elder signs, and you want the game to run out, or you want to reveal the one Cthulhu card that's in the deck, and that will get you an instant win. I'm not like a big social deduction fan because they all feel very similar to me. This one gets a 7 rating, so it's above an average game for me, but it is actually one of my favorite social deduction games. So it's very simple, and we played this a lot in the last month because it was the month of Halloween. So we were playing these different Halloween kind of spooky themed games, and this has got the Cthulhu theme in it. So we were playing this one quite a bit this last month. So 7 rating for Don't Mess with Cthulhu. Let's go to our fourth game. Our fourth game is a big box game, but very, very easy. This is Caesar's Empire. This is sort of this weird sort of route building game. On your turn, you're just going to take some of your roads that you have in front of you and place them on a route that's already existing, or else build a new route building off the city of Rome. And when you place a road, then everybody who's part of that road is going to score 1 point for every road that's in that system that's leading back to Rome. So you are going to place that, get points for it, but you're also going to get the city token that's there, and you're also going to get this certain resource token that is there. At the end of the game, when all the cities have been taken, you're going to score each of your cities that are different colors, the highest token city color for that color, and you're going to score points for sort of set collection for all the different resources that you've gathered throughout the game. This was one that kind of surprised me. It's very, very simple. It's very fast. Plays in about 20 to 30 minutes. I feel like it's kind of replacing Ticket to Ride for myself because you can play it in half the time. I feel like I just like it quite a bit more than Ticket to Ride. It's going to get a 7.5 rating from myself. I could see some people really, really liking this game. It's very fast, very simple, but still has some strategy in it. You can play this with pretty much anyone. So 7.5 for Caesar's Empire. Let's go on to our fifth game of the week. This is a small little card game. This is Scout. This is a trick-taking sort of ladder climbing game where one player is going to play a card from their hand and the next player has to beat that card or scout those cards that you played. And scouting means you take that card and put it back into your hand. The thing about this one that makes it different and unique is you can't shuffle your cards. Once you have a hand of cards, you cannot rearrange those cards anyway. You have to play those cards out of your hand in that specific way. So you can't take a 2 that's over here and pick out a 3 and 4 that's over here in order to make a straight. You have to manipulate your hand in a certain way, using certain cards to merge your certain sections that are good with each other. I like trick-taking games, and I like trick-taking games that have some kind of twist to it. So I like that it's got this twist to it. It kind of reminds me of Bonanza, how you can't shuffle your hand again once you can't rearrange anything. I really like that. I think it's clever. It's very neat. It's simple. It's going to get an 8 rating from me. I would say it's one of my favorite trick-taking ladder climbing games that you can basically teach most people. So yeah, Scout gets an 8 rating. Highly suggest if you can find it. It took me like a year of searching for this game to finally bring it home. And I think it's because it's finally getting a wider US release now. So let's go on to our final game of the week. This is Pioneer Days. I've talked about Pioneer Days before on this channel, but never reviewed it because it has made my top 100 video. It has made my some top 10 lists that I've put out here in the past year. This is this dice drafting sort of game that's basically Oregon Trail, the card game, or Oregon Trail, the board game, I should say. And you're going to be drafting these dice, and these dice, you can do a couple different things with them. You have a couple options of what you want to do with them. You can take them for that effect, whatever that dice is. You can take them for a money value, whatever that certain dice value is worth for that symbol. Or you can take the person that's associated with that dice's action. And so there's quite a few different actions or options that you have when drafting dice, but also at the end of the round, there's going to be one leftover die that's sitting there, and it's a certain color, and that disaster track of that color is going to move one up. And there are 4 different disasters, and if the disaster track reaches the end for that disaster will happen. And there's different things like plague and disease, stuff like that. just bad things are going to happen, famine. And so bad things are going to happen, but you can kind of see the track moving, so you can prepare yourself to try to mitigate those disasters. I really like this game a lot. It gets a 9 rating from me. It is one of my favorite dice games. I mean, it made my top 10 dice games list like a month back when I made that list. And yeah, it's one of my favorite games. I'm surprised that I've never reviewed it, but when I played this a couple weeks ago, I looked on the games that I've reviewed. I'm like, I've never reviewed Pioneer Days. It's one of my favorite games. I mean, it's definitely in my top 50 games, I think, right now. It gets a 9 rating for me, so I highly suggest you check out Pioneer Days if you can find it. But that will complete this list for this week. Let me know in the comments below some of your thoughts on some of these games, whether you want to play them, whether you've played them, if we have different thoughts on certain games, which is perfectly fine, perfectly normal. We're all different. Either way, if you did enjoy this video, make sure to like and subscribe to see more weekly content from me, Shane, at the board meeting in the future. Hope you all have an amazing day. Take care, everyone.